Okay, so what do we got here? It's my understanding Seiko is bringing out these new pieces. There's a couple, three different ones of this that are inspired by, basically, they're trying to do a crossover stylistically between the 62 MAS and the Marinemaster. They're trying to, I guess, put together their two, their two great, things that people love. I don't know. I don't know, honey.
Well, like I said to you, I think it looks like a paper that was printed on ink that was running out.
Yeah, I see what they're doing. They're trying to get that Japanese aesthetic going on.
Well, from a distance, the black one looks like you were running out of toner.
That's funny. Um, they still have the same handset, which I like. The markers haven't changed. It's so these are inset. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, this is a really good handset. I actually wish I had like a few of this handset, not that one, but this hour and minute hand. I think Seiko did a really good job with that. Hey, is the is the is it is it aligned? Oh, I guess. Well, it's printed on the dial. Look. Oh, did they punt? There's no chapter ring to become misaligned. It's all printed on the dial. Movie. They made a movie. Oh, this is a new Marinemaster. You see,
I don't like that shade of blue.
I don't like that. I don't know. That shade of blue is not me. I don't mind this insert. I mean, even though it's made completely differently, I'm sure their casework is fine, but this is not that.
No, not at all. It's an entirely different watch.
Light blue dial, darker blue bezel. I guess it's almost blue black. Every time I look at this, though, I just see the handset and I'm like, that's a nice handset. Yeah, you see, they make all these different versions, but they can't make just like the right one. And the crazy thing is, they know what the original looks like. It's right there.
Yes.
See, look, I don't know if they noticed this, but there's an original one right there. It's right here. It's astonishing. They must have missed it. In any case, they probably just read about it without actually seeing it, and so they made their best copy. You know what they can do. White dial. Let's see. There's the black. I don't know what is up with this bracelet. The other thing that's interesting about this one is that it has a Rolex style bezel and insert rotating ring, in that it's angled like this and it has this sort of these knurlings that go around the top. It's Rolex style, which is I think is wild. You can see it right here. That's pretty interesting. I don't mind it. I wish the lume wasn't green, but nobody asked me. Isn't exactly a carbon copy of the 62 MAS, but rather a more contemporary version that incorporates design elements from the Marinemaster series, such as large angular facets. The movement is one that Seiko made before. It's the 6L, and before that it was the 4L. It was a movement that was made for the basically to attract the Swiss market, because it's got Swiss style Inca block settings. It's got Swiss style reduction wheel winding. I mean, I wouldn't mind this, I don't know. Because are they all printed the same? Because it's supposed to be this randomness, but it looks like they're all stamped from the same blank. Meh. Ellipse-shaped links. Is that what they call these? Ellipse? I always call those oval. Well, ellipse. I'll start using it. Lumabrite. Largely the same as what can be found on the 62 MAS. They look nothing like the 62 MAS. I mean, they tried, but these it's just a platen that they are just then printing this lume on top of. If they made the dial markers correct, even that much would make me happier. In any case, here's more about this. This is the 6L37, but the 6L movement through this display case back. 6L was a movement that was originally the 4L, which was made for Creedor, which was one level up. And then they only made it for a couple of years, and then they licensed it to some other watch company. I don't remember which. And then the thought is when they decided to come out with this one, because it was really expensive to make, they changed it back to more Seiko-y, like going back to the Dia-Shock settings instead of the IFX. Japanese watch brand, separate line of watches. I love that handset. Yeah, and this Rolex style bezel. Huh, wonder what's up with that. 62 MAS costs less than $1,000. Premium offering, $2,800. By the way, this movement is still only plus 10, minus 15, or minus 10, plus 15 seconds a day. For being this expensive, it doesn't have any better accuracy than Seiko's, more normally priced things. Looks like it's a slim top. That's pretty cool. I don't know what's up with this bracelet. I don't know how to feel about it. It looks like an Omega bracelet to me.
I thought you said it looked like a Rolex one or something.
I don't know. Well, it's two-tone, which I don't understand. I mean,
you don't like something that's two-tone?
Well, this is different. You see, because brushed and polished together, it looks excessively fancy to me. It doesn't look like, tool watchy, but that's a personal thing. Oh, I know a lot of people complain about date down here.
I don't like that.
Really, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's a pretty decent place to put it for me, simply because it leaves the dial intact and you not have this other like overbalancing element. I don't know. A lot of people hate it. I don't know why.
I'm shocked. I'm pleased.
I am shocked and pleased too. I don't think I've got any more. Oh yeah, well, that's just more pictures. I went and found a bunch of different places. 28.8, 45, 26 jewels. Screwman 39, 240 magnetic resistance, limited edition of 1,000. I don't know. I mean, I like that better. Look at the faux tan loom. That looks a little nicer. I realize this is not the same watch, but but you know what? I do like that strap. That's pretty nice. I think that's pretty cool. I don't mind that watch. Wait, didn't I have one of these and I sold it almost immediately? I think I did. Okay, enough babbling. Wrist check time.
Okay, I grabbed something random because I haven't worn it in a while.
Look at that. I think it's an Alba. It's JDM. I believe these are from the 90s, maybe the aughts. I know I knew it before. I just don't remember. But isn't it neat? They call it the robot.
I think it looks like an alien.
Well, it's sort of green. Maybe it's like an amphibian.
It's sort of green.
Okay, fine.
It is green.
Fine, it's green. And people are going to roll their eyes. Ever since the lovely and talented Ryan Walters was like, why don't you wear your Explorer? I hadn't bought, it had a problem with the hairspring and the balance, and I had started looking at it, and then I put it to one side, and then like a year and a half went by, and he was like, dude, why don't you wear that? So I fixed it, and then I put it on this Oyster, which actually I think works really nicely. I just went and redid the loom on these hands because I didn't like the way it looked before. This is a new loom, a new kind of VintaLume that I came up with. That is, it's got a different, sort of the base medium that I use I changed, and it gives me a more authentic look. And as you can see, it's white, but it's not blinding white. I also had to tint these. This dial is a reprinted one. This is not like original, reprinted. But the loom was slightly green. It drove me nuts. So I made a really, really, really thin wash that was ever so slightly pink, like barely pink, and I just soaked in a little bit, and it just changed the color, just a hair. Anyway, this was my great uncle's Rolex, and I inherited it as a rusty pile of garbage, and there it is running. That's the original handset, though. Cool. Punk rock girl, won't you be mine?
That's not me. I am the opposite of a punk rock girl.
That song has absolutely one of the top 10 guitar solos of all time.
You heard the man.
Punk Rock Girl by the Dead Milkmen. The reason we're talking about this, there's a question that refers to them.
Mm-hmm.
We went to, wait, what's the key? We went to the Philly Pizza Company and ordered some hot tea, and the waitress said no, we only have it iced. So we jumped up on the tables and we shouted anarchy. Then someone started playing Beach Boys on the jukebox. It was California Dreamin', and so we started screaming. I don't remember the import.
Sorry, I'm talking to Sadie.
I've never before serenaded you.
Well, I guess you were trying to. I didn't take it as a serenade.
There's no trying, honey. I did it right here in the open, in front of the world.
I guess. Now I'm thinking about Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, you know, he's been canceled. All right, folks, it's Friday.
Yay.
It's Friday. It's Friday. Wrist check time.
Okay, I grabbed something random because I haven't worn it in a while.
Look at that. I think that it's an Alba. It's JDM. I believe these are from the 90s, maybe the aughts. I know I knew it before. I just don't remember. But isn't it neat? They call it the robot.
I think it looks like an alien.
Well, it's sort of green. Maybe it's like an amphibian.
It's sort of green.
Okay, fine.
It is green.
Fine, it's green. And I am, people are going to roll their eyes. Ever since the lovely and talented Ryan Walters was like, why don't you wear your Explorer? I hadn't bought, it had a problem with the hairspring and the balance, and I had started looking at it, and then I put it to one side, and then like a year and a half went by, and he was like, dude, why don't you wear that? So I fixed it, and then I put it on this Oyster, which actually I think works really nicely. I just went and redid the loom on these hands because I didn't like the way it looked before. This is a new loom, a new kind of VintaLume that I came up with that is, it's got a different, sort of the base medium that I use is I changed, and it gives me a more authentic look. And as you can see, it's white, but it's not blinding white. I also had to tint these. This style is a reprinted one. This is not like original, reprinted. But the loom was slightly green. It drove me nuts. So I made a really, really, really thin wash that was ever so slightly pink, like barely pink, and I just soaked in a little bit, and it just changed the color, just a hair. Anyway, this was my great uncle's Rolex, and I inherited it as a rusty pile of garbage, and there it is running. That's the original handset, though. Cool. I'm trying not to sing.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm wearing the green watch.
It's cool. I'm glad you wear that, and I'm so glad that somebody appreciates it because it's so neat.
It's different, and I don't think Willow liked it, but Sadie and Sebastian both like it.
The styling is crazy, but it's unique. It's not like imitating anything else. It's just, I don't know. It's cool. And it's well made, crazily enough.
And it's comfortable.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Which is nuts considering like how big it is.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's keep on rocking in the free world.
Okay. From Saul Brook. Sabrina, who is that? Spencer, some jerk. And that is why Spencer is a kindred spirit. He does that all the time.
I don't know, some jerk. Well, thank you for appreciating my humor. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe I made it up. I don't remember.
Salty crabs. It's funny you mentioned gold cases for good movements. I started buying up watches to learn disassembly on, and every one I've bought so far has been gold case because they are so cheap. I can't wait to open up a 7005 I got because it only runs intermittently, and I want to figure out why. Speaking of 80s punk music, were you a fan of the Dead Milkmen?
Yes, both ironically and unironically, which creates it's kind of a perpetual motion machine of being able to like something and also not like something.
Wow.
I mean, think about that. What year did that song come out? Punk Rock Girl?
I think it says like 87.
That late?
Well,
I thought it was a lot earlier than that.
let me look. That album came out in 88.
Wow. Wow, I'm totally out of my depth. I think I'm confusing them or mixing them up with...
Bitch and Camaro?
No.
Because that came out in 85.
Okay, we're still getting earlier. No, who's... Oh my... Violent Femmes.
Oh,
Because they're kind of
yeah,
in that
yeah,
same...
yeah.
That kind of in that same thing. Mm-hmm. You want to hear some great bass playing, and I know everybody knows the Violent Femmes. All school children do. But if you want to listen to that song and hear some just fantastic bass playing on an acoustic bass, no less, an acoustic bass, fantastic job. Anyway.
Anywho, CMB8589.
Oh, wait, I didn't answer the first part of his question.
Oh, shit.
Let's...
So did we move? You paused it, and then you moved it, so we might be in a different direction to them.
I don't know, who knows?
So, hi.
I think the lighting's actually a little better like this. I have no idea
I
why.
thought I have like this shadow, and I'm yellow.
Oh, it's that stupid light.
Yeah.
All right, well...
And you know the walls are yellow.
It's true.
Okay, CMB8589. I too have sussed a few interchangeable parts. For example, a HTF handset with that sintered gray finish from a 1997N is the exact set used in a 1987 A28. A Seiko interchangeability part list online would be a good idea, as it is so easy to forget these things and also confuse them.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that stuff, there is a Seiko interchangeability guide. I don't know how comprehensive it is, and I think a lot of times things that I know aren't in there, or, things that we have found out by trial and error, like upper and lower mainspring arbor jewels, they're not listed. They're listed for 6159. But the fact that you could get that jewel and put it into a 6000 series, that's not even an option. There's some other examples, I just can't think of them right now. But we need a knowledge base.
Sure. So get knowledging.
Yep, it's true.
Okay. I would say your VintaLume and use of is one of your best accomplishments. You need to market it, and I would be interested in part funding if you wish and could distribute it in Europe. Well,
VintaLume?
Mm-hmm. I've been telling him I've been telling him we need to find a chemist somewhere to come and make his formulas into a stable, consistent product, and then we should sell them. But he's afraid that you guys would buy it and mess up your watches.
I don't, because it's just, I make up stuff on the fly, and sometimes it works. I would feel terrible if somebody used some product that I pushed and, inadvertently did something to their watch. Looming is tough, but that should never dissuade you from trying. It's another great use for junk watches. If you get junk dials, like real junk dials, and they're not going to be usable for anything, use them for looming practice. Looming practice is great because you've got to mix up the loom and understand the textures of how it's supposed to be. And
it's easy to make a lot of it, so be careful.
Yeah, I always tend to make, either I make far more than I need, or a lot less. And then I have to mix it again, and then I have to be like, holy crap, I hope it can match this. But, it mostly works.
I just remember when you first started, you made so much loom that you had to loom all the clocks in the house.
I did. I loomed. It was like the first time I'd ever had a looming set. I didn't know what I was doing, so I had built models all my life, plastic models. And so you got to have a good amount of the paint that you're going to use, and you barely use any. So I loomed everything. My Russian submarine clock, wall clock, everything I could. I should loom Granddad's 1850s desk clock.
The one you guys hear dinging.
Dinging.
True Blue Miata. I've been running my YouTube videos at 1.25 speed in order to keep up with new posts. Laughed out loud when Sabrina made a remark about ADHD and dinner table talk. What did I say?
I don't know. Somebody said, I really enjoyed your analogy of a cocktail party. And I was like, what did I ever say about a cocktail party? I have no memory whatsoever of it.
I don't know what I did, but I'm glad it was funny.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I made a hit with that one. Wait, where was that?
That was this one.
Oh. Running videos at 1.25 speed is actually really neat. It's a neat trick because it's only barely faster and it's perfectly comprehensible. So it's a really neat trick.
The Seiko 6117 6010 error bezel. Joaquin Puelo 4609. Mr. Klein looking to purchase one of these, but the bezel insert does not rotate. Is that too difficult or costly to repair?
Okay, so usually in this situation, the deal is those stems, they have little gears on them, little gears and springs with a square section. So the stem and the crown can interact with that city ring right there. But a lot of times, if it gets broken, like the original stem gets broken, you're going to lose all those other little parts. And a lot of times, people just threw a regular old stem in there, not one that was special with the thing, and so it doesn't rotate. That's typically what it is.
Seiko 101 pulling a movement from a one-piece case. Joe Carpenter 5207. Were you able to get that stem back in?
Yeah. It was fine. I was just honestly, I was a little distracted, but that's no excuse. Oh yeah, once I stopped trying to think about two things at once, I was able to get it done. It's wild.
I was working on a 6106 a few weeks ago, and if I pulled the stem with the crown pulled, the yoke popped out of place and ended up on top of the setting lever. I don't know what the right way is, but after taking off the dial and resetting things twice, I found out things worked better with the crown pushed in. I like that 70s look to the dial. They don't make them as cool anymore as they did back then.
Yeah, almost without exception. You want to have the crown all the way in because that's the neutral for the crown. It's not engaged in any other settings. That's the reason why. It's especially critical with a watch like a 6138 because it has a gear for winding and it has a gear for clutching and all that stuff. And if you have the crown out, those parts are separated, and what'll happen is the big flat outer gear will go sideways, and then you have some real problems. I fixed it. It's tough. You have to get the watch so the crown tube is facing down, and then just kind of little tippy tappy tip, hoping that you can get it to fall flat again, and then you have to kind of very gingerly get the stem in. You can do it, but boy, it's a pain in the ass. Another trick, by the way, if you've ever done that and the movement and the watch are in, you can actually snap that back most of the time without having to take it apart. You take the stem and you insert it into the hole and you go up and to the left, and you're kind of pushing up like this, and it'll go click and it pushes it back. It's a great old trick.
Yesterday's watch review today, the 6119 6053 Regatta. Regatta.
Oh, apparently that's what skim milk is for.
Oh.
You use that. Somebody had a thing on cooking, and they were like, I accidentally ordered, it was like a shop. I accidentally ordered, it was like 35 gallons of skim milk. And everybody was like, oh, Regatta.
Oh. KL5696. Thank you for the backstory of the watch. I am currently looking at a remake of this watch, SRPK13K1F, and found your video. The remake only has one rotating bezel, but the chapter ring is decorated very similar to the rotating inner ring of the original. In your video, you explain the significance of the 20 minutes. What is the significance of the 4-hour mark?
Okay, I have no idea. I have the foggiest idea. All this stuff with the regatta stuff actually was knowledge that was given to me because I was talking about the fact that I wasn't sure about that. It wasn't my original idea. Somebody had suggested it. And I was like, well, that's pretty good. I don't know much of anything about yachting, not much of a yachter. I wanted to have this question up, though, specifically. People, anybody who knows anything about regattaing, please, please, please put a note in and tell us what is the significance of those timings. Also, Seiko made a remake, but without the most key element of the watch, which is double bezel. It's like when they brought back the 6139 Pogue case and then made it a three-hand watch, non-chronograph, that was also open heart. None of it made any sense. It was like South Park with the dolphins picking things when they were making fun of Family Guy.
Looking at old watches, unboxing a 6159 7010 OG Tuna. Francis Palmer 9737. One of my favorite things to do when I get a vintage watch in the post is removing the years of gunk from the case, bezel, bracelet, and all the hidden places, then cleaning them in my ultrasonic cleaner, which is one of my better investments. It is so satisfying and oddly great to watch. So cheers, Spencer. By the way, a very nice looking watch. I couldn't sit there and watch all the wrist cheese just go.
Oh, no, the best one.
Hairs hanging.
Well, no, the very, very best one. It was astonishing. In fact, maybe I should actually do a segment so I could show it to you. I'll consider that. But it was unreal how much hair there was in that thing. It was like, I'll have to just show because there was.
Wait, you still have it?
Yeah, I have.
With the hair?
No.
Oh.
I cleaned the hell out of it.
Was that the guy that we decided was super Italian or something?
Exactly right. So it was one of those. It's a clamshell. So you have the big case back that the movement fits into, and then you have the gasket, and then the crystal, and then over that goes the sort of clamshell top. It's actually a really good design, and this watch was actually proof of that. The dial and hands and lume were perfect, and it's a good thing it sealed so well because whoever it was, his wrist must have been naked. It was a gold-plated watch, and it was pretty worn. I have all the parts. I'll let you see it. But I took that thing apart, and those clamshell cases in the lower part around the movement, they're not solid stainless steel. They're basically a round ring-style thing with two flats, one on the top. So you have these corners that are kind of open. They were completely packed, solid, with wrist hairs. Solid. As were the insides of all the hollow links. Packed. It was amazing. I'd never seen anything like it before. It was just bananas. All of them were jet black straight. For me, one of the weird things about watches, I love cleaning them. I'm right with you. I love cleaning them. One of the weirder things, though, is sort of the scent experience. You get a watch and it's from some guy's sock drawer, and it smells like, grandfather's closet. It smells like a grandfather's drawer where he keeps his socks, and it's a weirdly nostalgic smell. I don't think it's really a smell that people.
I don't know.
It's like a mix of foot powder and not for any other reason, like Gold Bond powder and aftershave, Old Spice aftershave, and maybe a hint of tobacco, things like that. It's just a very specific smell. Maybe, but I think those kinds of grandfathers are all gone. I don't know, you people in other places in the world, what did your grandparents' closet smell like?
Where was I? From Dive into Engineering 6089. Such a nice piece. Thank you for sharing and all your content.
Thank you.
The problematic gas is helium.
Yes.
Saturation divers live and breathe in a helium and oxygen atmosphere. Helium molecules are the smallest gas and second only to hydrogen. That's why it's difficult to keep them away from a watch case.
Yeah, I got the two jangled and mixed up. You're 100% right. Helium, of course, helium and hydrogen are the two that power the fusion reaction that is our sun. Giant ball of plasma that it is. But helium.
Oh God, you said our son, and I'm like trying to
Yes,
figure out why you're talking about Sebastian.
I'm not talking about Sebastian.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I had a whole. Oh yeah, but that's all the helium in our solar system comes from there, and it's actually quite rare. It's hard to get, and yet we sell it in children's balloons. I guess it's really hard to store, but it's so light that it exits the atmosphere, and that's why it's hard to find helium.
I thought that was a myth.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it is. Is that a myth?
Eric B8888. Helium is the gas in question. The mix is known as heliox. The L-shaped gasket allows the watch to effectively sip and not to sip helium and not let excessive amounts of it in.
Yeah, I got a hint of scale in my mind about how small an atom of helium would have to be to sort of drift through the gap between an L gasket, the case, or the crystal. That's sort of gave me the willies.
Daniel Bort 6977. What bracelet and endlinks do you have on the short dial text non-SUA 6309?
I'll just break and show you real quick. Entertaining.
This was from not last mail call, the one before.
That's fine.
Okay. Joseph Stewart 4440. Hey, SNS, question for next mail call. Can you explain the importance of wearing gloves when handling the inner workings of a watch and why skin contact with a watch movement is a big no-no?
And I was guilty of doing this for a long time because I didn't like the little finger caught things. The problem is there's acid and oils, and the oil will stick to the metal. And then you have the acids and other things like that will discolor the metal or eat it away. I can give you a great example of that. I have a beautiful thing that's made of very old, beautifully highly polished steel. It's very old. And I was, at some point, I guess in my excitement when I was looking at the thing, I must have touched it with the tip of my pinky. And then I went back and looked at it, I don't know, 3 weeks later, and there was literally red rust in that spot. And
What was this?
This was the Rei Kunimitsu sword.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's like masterwork sword. And so, I'll have the sword for, I hope, ever. And but that will always be a reminder to me to not touch metal with your bare fingers, and if you do, you better be cleaning it.
That's it.
That's it, huh?
That's it. What?
Nothing. I'm sitting here, I'm still thinking about, 80s music. I decided yesterday that for me, the most, this is like the 80s feeling, boom. For me, what the thing was It's a Beautiful World by Devo. The second one is Temptation by New Order.
I'm sorry, Whip It is what?
Whip It is amazing.
But that's 80s. Whoa.
And it's a cool song. I guess the thing is, It's a Beautiful World has this sort of this sort of purposeful driving opening and direction. What?
Well, the MTV still played the Whip It video when I was a youth, and it was on those commercials for CDs of, this is the 80s type of, and it had a compilation, and Whip It was always on it. So that is why I say it is Whip It more than beautiful world.
Oh yeah, and more people would recognize Whip It. I mean, it's like for Devo, it's like their Oingo Boingo's Dead Man's Party. Everybody knows it, even if they've completely forgotten the band. Not that Oingo Boingo has been forgotten, at least not by me. I'm talking about them right now.
It's true.
See, I do remember them. I remember some things. I don't know. That's pretty much about it. It's Friday, and I think we're done.
Yep.
And I'm gonna, make some segments, and then I'll put it together.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, folks. Bye.